Alright, so in today's video, I got the Platinum Trophy on Forza Horizon 5. And no, this is not like last time where I quit early out of defeat like a little baby. Today, or over the last 2 weeks, I put in over 40 more hours into Forza Horizon 5 to get that Platinum Trophy. And I want to say huge thanks to you guys for the support in the previous Forza video. It really motivated me to get this done. And another thanks to all the comments giving me tips and tricks on how to get some of those time-gated trophies to make this video for you all today. But last time we left off at 32 total trophies done on Forza's main game list. And the main reason I quit was because of these 5 time-limited trophies that can only be gotten across months of playing, and I mean that quite literally. Some of these are not possible within even 1 month of playing the game. But a lot of comments and the Power Picks guide both mentioned a method to get them all done in the offline version of Forza. Now, the last time I tried to make this video, I was just doing the method wrong, which is why I thought it got patched. But to get the offline playlist, all you have to do is just turn off your internet all the way while playing, and I don't believe the date you pick actually matters too much for what we are trying to accomplish. Just make sure it's a few months in the past so you can still change the weeks for the future events we will need. And the reason you want to restart your game is because you don't need a full playlist, and that's actually probably a bad thing to try and grind out. But if you just turn off your internet, then restart the game and load into it with zero Wi-Fi connection, it puts you in a fallback offline season relating to the month you chose to play in. And this also takes away a lot of points being needed to get for 100% completion of the series. If you can see, the offline one after we reset had a total of 143 points across all of the seasons, and before in the non-reset offline series it had 285 points. Now we will go over why you would want to do a non-reset series in the future, because that way does allow you to get some other events you won't be able to acquire in the reset version of the method. But for now, on the offline fallback series, the goal is to just go through and complete every single event that the game has for us to do. And most of these are not all that difficult. There is a few that require a specific car type for races that can be difficult, seeing as we don't have access to any tunes from people, and we have to do them ourselves. Now you guys know me, and I have zero clue what's going on inside of cars, so I didn't even attempt to tune anything. But overall, the whole offline fallback method is not difficult. It just takes hours upon hours of time. And that's not even a bad thing, because we are doing it all, and it's not a shocker that doing an entire month's worth of events would take a few hours to complete. I think in the end, doing this entire 143 point event completion took me about 11 hours of playtime, so a good day's work for sure. But during this, I did get a few trophies. The first one was about 5 hours in from just completing a festival playlist activity in every season. Now this just meant I did at least one thing within each season of the game, and I already had 2 seasons completed from just the normal Forza Horizon playlist with internet connection before I started this offline thing. But then the next trophy I got was nearing the end of my grind in this fallback series, and it was just from winning 80 different races total within events in Mexico. Now again, I had a lot of completion towards that 80 marker already from previously playing, but regardless, here's that trophy. And then only 1 short hour after that, I did end up completing the entire festival playlist series, and I got the Min Meet Max trophy. Now if you guys want to know how to unlock the other events in the seasons and weeks, all you have to do is change your console's date to 7 days in the future every time you complete a full season's events, and that's pretty much all you have to do. Now with that trophy done, I have pretty much gotten the hardest in terms of time-gated trophies. There is still 3 more trophies I need to get from the time-related trophy section, and the first of these is called Treasure Hunter, from smashing all the treasure chests in a festival playlist. Now because I did complete the series on the offline fallback, there was unfortunately not a single treasure chest event within the series, but you can still do this method on other series from the Horizon playlist in the past, and you do this by just selecting the date they began with some trial and error. But do not restart your game ever. You have to keep the game running and your Wi-Fi off, but just continue to change the date of your console so it updates this series and play on your game as you still do play it. This allows you to quickly do the treasure hunt events and then swap to the next week, and if there is no treasure chest available, then go to the week that there is and just complete them all for the trophy. You then use that same method for the next trophy from this section called Gotta Smash 'em All. Now this trophy I actually believe is the longest trophy that would take you the most time in terms of waiting for it to be available, because sometimes within a festival series there can be 0 smashable challenges at all, meaning you literally cannot make progress for this trophy months at a time, and you need to complete 5 events total for the trophy. But thanks to the method I just said, where you don't restart your game after changing the date, you can just keep going to new seasons in the series and basically do that until you find one that has a smashable challenge, then complete it, and it gives progress for the trophy. Once hitting 5 completed, then popped, and I was on to my last time-gated trophy of the game, called Dust in the Lens. This requires you to take a photo of a car featuring the Grand Telescope in a dust storm. The telescope is atop a big mountain, and it's very easy to spot, but the dust storm, however, does not appear unless you're in a hot spring season. So again, just change your console's date to a spring season, then get atop the mountain by the telescope, and just change your console's time to 10 minutes forward over and over and over until a dust storm creeps into view, and snap the photo for the trophy. With that complete, I've now officially done every single time-gated trophy inside of Forza Horizon 5. I would say that is the hard part done, however, it is unfortunately not even close. Just the most confusing part, we will say, I guess. So now it's time to turn back on the Wi-Fi, get back into the game, and bang out some trophies from the main list that are easy or at least simple to complete. The first one I chased down was called Fit to Print, from taking 50 photos of legendary cars for the Horizon promo event. The Horizon promo event is just what this game calls its photo mode, and there's a lot of photos to take if you were so enticed to complete those for accolades and XP. However, for this trophy, we just need 50 differing legendary cars photographed. And inside of the event lab, if you just look up the trophy name, a ton of events will appear, and most of them have multiple cars inside that are legendary at the start of the race. So just begin the race, go into photo mode, snap a photo of the starting line, and you should get around 7 to 10 cars legendary photographed, and the counter will increase almost every new photo you take. Repeat this over and over and over until reaching 50 cars photographed and the trophy pops. Now you could do that normally by just buying legendary cars or earning them. However, getting 50 legendary cars is quite a grind, so I would highly suggest just using Event Lab to do that trophy. I also then got my final barn find in the game. You can just search a map for their locations or just buy the treasure map like I did for a few bucks, which reveals every location in the game, and it's a giant help to us. I would then dip my feet into the water of online events within Forza Horizon 5. And by online events, I mean online racing. Yup, your boy has to actually be able to race against real people without crashing into walls and actually racing a damn car legit. But the first trophy I got here was the easiest of the online racing ones, just requiring me to finish 5 Horizon Tour race events ahead of all of the drivatars. Now this just means I have to beat all of the AI in the Horizon Tour race. Horizon Tour races, if you were wondering, work in a 3-part course. You're joined by a team of real people racing with you against an entire team of AI drivers. So it's not very hard to win it in general or to beat the AI. All you have to make sure to do is just not crash or miss a checkpoint, and you should be able to win 5 events very easily. Additionally, this does not mean 5 whole rounds, just individual races. So you can bang this trophy out in just 2 Horizon Tour circuits total. And that's what I did with this trophy popping. Now the next 2 trophies I got, I decided to try and combine together. And the first one was from completing the Tristan chapter of the Horizon Born Fast story and also getting 3 stars on it. Now Horizon stories are actually kind of cool, and they are just these little stories within the game that have you race and find out more about the Horizon event and characters within it. The Born Fast story essentially was about a group of rich kids racing expensive as fuck cars and getting beat by us because the love of the game outweighs the skin in the game. And I also made sure to 3-star every single race within this story so I could also get a trophy called Cover to Cover from earning 3 stars on all chapters in a single Horizon story. It only took me about an hour to finish the Horizon story, by the way, and once I did 3-star Tristan's race, which was against Tristan if you can't guess that, I got his trophy, and then the 3-star all event trophy popped right along with it. I then began a very, very big grind in this game's open world next, earning 294 stars on PR stunts across Mexico. And just so you all know, doing PR stunts within the Hot Wheels DLC or any of them for that matter do not count for this because I did try to, get a little quick one past the developers and it did not work. But earning 294 stars on PR stunts in Mexico does not require you to 3-star every single PR stunt. You do have to complete all of them, but you can 2-star quite a few and be just fine. But once you get really good cars like this Hoonigan car I am using, it makes pretty much every single event easy, or at least not that challenging after a few tries to get it done. So I just drove around and nailed this out pretty quickly, and here's that trophy, seeing as I already had a large portion of them finished to begin with. The next 3 trophies I got were all a bit random from the game's trophy list. I was kind of trying to weed out the random trophies before beginning some of the bigger grinds on the list, but the first one was called Ford of the Wings from earning 3 stars at the Eagles Perch Danger sign in a Ford Supervan 3. Now to get this car, I just used a voucher I bought to get it cheap, bought the best tune I could find, and then I absolutely sent it and I got 3 stars right away with the trophy popping. I then did a trophy called Water Performance, which sounds very hard, but it's actually not too difficult, and I did it on my first real attempt of it. You have to 3-star both the Puerto Petra and La Marisma Trailblazer events back to back within 3 minutes and 30 seconds. No fast travel is allowed, by the way. So get a super good car like the one I am using that can move very fast but also maneuver dirt and water. Then just complete the La Marisma event first because it's better to start with that one. Once done, set a marker towards the Puerto Petra event and haul your ass over there. Complete that as fast as possible. Try to rewind as little as you can, by the way, because the timer does not stop for rewinding, and if you do it fast enough like I did, the trophy will pop. I would then go on to get a sort of confusing trophy after that from winning 3 rival events in 3 different performance classes while driving the same car. This just means get a car that can be upgraded across 3 different classes. I chose the Ford Bronco and took it from C class to A class, and you literally just start a rival event with any race as the C class. You then have to win it and then upgrade to B class, do another event, win that one, and then upgrade the car once more to A class and yet again win the event, which is your final one, and the trophy will pop with ease. Unfortunately, however, that was the final trophy I got that was completely random, and the remaining trophies I now have left are pretty much all a grind aside from like 1 or 2 of them. The first one I chased down was completing every single bonus board out of 250 in the game, and during this I also did take a few breaks to complete Horizon Arcade events when I saw a new one pop up on my map. You have to complete 5 different ones for a trophy as well, just to add on. But getting the bonus boards took quite some time to do. Also, shout out to some fans who saw me doing this and occasionally follow me around for emotional support. I love you. In total though, I spent another 3 hours of playtime just getting all of these done. 99% of them aren't too challenging, but that 1% of boards look like the final one I did where you have to send the shit out of a jump at a very precise angle to hit the board. But again, these still aren't that hard. It just takes a few retries, maybe a YouTube search, I won't lie. But once smashing my final board, the trophy did pop into my lap. And almost right after that, I did complete 5 different Horizon Arcade themes. And in my previous Forza video, I said that doing these solo is near impossible, and I just want to say I'm sorry for saying that because that claim is actually retarded. Doing the arcade event solo is actually far easier than with people. I think I just didn't understand how they work before, so I apologize for that. But I did my 5th one here again by myself. It was very easy, and the trophy then popped afterwards. The last open world trophy I had left was then called Ride and Seek, from driving on every single road in Mexico. This trophy can be kind of annoying, but it's actually not bad once you buy a player house that allows fast travel to any road. Low-key wish I bought that at the beginning of the game, but it's fine, it's whatever, I enjoy driving my car. However, when this trophy says drive on every single road, it actually means you have to drive down the road until it's fully covered in. And there is a bit of grace period with this trophy because when it popped, I still had a few tiny roads not driven completely in, but it gave me the trophy anyways, and I really appreciate that game, thank you. So that is now the open world and single player trophies completed in all, besides the one from buying every player house. I needed 5 million credits for that final one, I was not even close to that sum of money. However, the final 2 trophies I really need to get are both online from winning races against real people. The first one was from winning an event in the Horizon Open. The Horizon Open, by the way, is a race completely against real people, just like the Horizon Tour, except there is no team and it's every man for himself. Now I tried this and I just got my ass destroyed for quite some time, but then I slept on it, woke up the next day and won an event almost right away, which was a giant W, and I was kind of surprised. Again, this does bring the whole RNG and luck aspect of going against drivers who don't exactly know what the fuck they are doing and are bad at the game, to be blatant, but I won a race here and got the trophy. My final trophy on Forza Horizon 5 was then from winning my first game of the Eliminator, called Chicken Dinner. And before we jump into this trophy, you might be able to tell by the length of this remaining video that this mode is no easy task at all. And I'm going to try my best to go very in depth with my experience because not only did it take me over 15 hours of attempts in this one mode to win, I experienced some of the most bullshit rounds, outcomes, zone pulls, car pulls, literally everything bad that could happen to you in this mode happened to me. Now, did I play a part in some of this? Yes, I did. But the amount of RNG, luck, chance, whatever you want to call it, that's required to win this mode is insane. And the fact that the trophy description implies we should be winning more than just our first round while playing is ridiculous. I don't actually believe the Forza Horizon 5 developers even playtested this mode. It's a fucking mess. Oh my god! But without further ado and my yapping, let's get into the Chicken Dinner trophy. So on my first attempt at this mode, I didn't really know what the hell was happening or how it functioned. I wasn't even aware of how to eliminate someone in the game, for fuck's sake. I thought you just had to run into them and wreck their car or something. But as I just drive around, I'm going to explain how this mode works and the best way to go about it from what I've learned, which is not going to be reflected in my early rounds of this mode that we will talk about. So in the Eliminator game mode, there's around a maximum of 50 players in one match. You can select anywhere to spawn on the map in general. It really doesn't matter though, because car drops which appear at complete random will appear everywhere. And these have the purple smoke arising from them with a rarity of car being from 2 to 10 possible beneath it. Usually though, it ranges from 2 to 6. I only ever got an 8 and above rating from a car drop, which is purple to gold, about 3 times in total within playing this for 15 hours. So it's very rare to find anything exceptionally good below this, but it still can happen. Usually you want to try and get a 4 and above rating off the rip of the round start. If you don't, it's going to be quite hard to win the match or beat a lot of people in head-to-head races. Now speaking of head-to-head races, that is how you eliminate other players in this game. Drive near someone and press R3 down to start the race. A destination appears and the first person there wins and then levels up their car's rating by 1. Or you can take the other player's car. And that's essentially all this game is. But then you have to throw in a ton of luck and variability with where the zone goes towards within the final race and with head-to-head locations in general. Anyways, back to my first round, however, I would end up getting my best car being a rank 5 level in the blue rarity. It was this off-road Porsche, which is actually a decent car in this mode. However, the end of the match had the zone pulling up this mountain and I couldn't drive up it because my car wasn't strong enough. Also, I was cooked anyways because you pretty much cannot win the final race with a level 5 car. It's almost impossible or is impossible. So I lost that round. It also kind of glitched out for me and I had to restart my game. A great first impression of the Eliminator mode. Back into my next round though, I was still being very passive. I didn't head-to-head race a single person in this round as well as my first one. I think at this point though I knew what that was, but I'm honestly not too sure. Maybe I didn't, I can't even remember. All I know is I actually got some decent cars from the random drops around the map, but because I never head-to-head raced anyone, I wasn't upgrading and I was stuck at level 6 when the final race began. The final race, by the way, occurs when the zone is quite small and there's under 10 players. It then pulls off to a kind of random location on the map that's usually 3 to 4 miles away. And I say it kind of pulls randomly because it almost always just goes opposite of the direction the zone was moving in, making it very easy to predict which will be needed in the future. However, as you can see when the final race began, I was cooked from the start. All the other players had legendary cars and I lost, obviously. Next round, I did finally figure out the whole head-to-head racing aspect, which is very obvious what it is, so I don't know how it took me 3 hours to figure that out. But I began one and I was doing fine until I hit a tree and yeah, I crashed, so I lost and actually rage quit out of the round, which I would say is probably bad routine because even if you fuck up, your opponent can occasionally fuck up even more, so it's good to see these through all the way regardless. The next round had another similar similar outcome and it was even uglier, but my round after that one was actually super good. I ended up getting very lucky and I found the Exocet off-road level 6 car, which is one of the best non-purple or gold cars in the game. And I then head-to-head raced somebody. I won it for once and I was then able to upgrade into my first purple car of the game, being the purple 7 Mercedes car. And this is actually a great pull because the other purple level 7 is a Ferrari and that car is unbelievably trash in every way. Also, for some insight into head-to-head races and where the destination appears, it's almost always away from the edge of the zone, so you can predict them very easily at the start to midway rounds. At the ending of the game zones, however, the head-to-head races get shorter and shorter, so whoever is facing it usually wins, and it's kind of bullshit usually. This was shown almost immediately after I won a GTR in another head-to-head race. I then rode up to some dude on this mountain, activated the race, and me not knowing how they functioned in late game yet, the game spawned the damn finish line about 200 yards behind me, and my opponent in a low-level car was already zooming towards it before the race started. So I lost immediately. And if you call that a fair race, I'm sorry, but you're fucking stupid. That is just BS in its finest form. It is a great example though of why this mode is so frustrating, because that took me about an hour of playing to get a purple car, and I lost it in less than 15 seconds, just like in the bedroom. My next round I was doing alright, kind of good. However, I unfortunately was trying to race this level 2 dude, but someone else snagged him, and then a purple car guy raced up on me, flying, and started a race. Also, the race decided to end right in front of the direction he was already traveling full speed in, so I basically lost before it even began. I then did another round, won a few races, and I got up to the purple Ferrari that I mentioned earlier, and in my opinion, this is one of the worst cars in the game mode, and that's because it just cannot off-road, and this entire game mode is almost exclusively just off-road racing. It's a fucking Ferrari, for Christ's sake. These things belong on asphalt or in someone's garage riding away for time's end. And I ended up losing a head-to-head to another level 7 car, being the Ford Bronco, a far superior off-road vehicle, and he cooked me. I then took another L almost immediately in the following round from a high-level car, so it's fine. But the next one I again did very good, got to near the ending of the game, had a GTR again, and again, like the last time I used this damn car, I started a race and it pulled in the opposite direction of me, and I lost to a level 2 player because the destination was again only a short hike away, so GG, motherfucker. I then lost again to another high-level car in the beginning of a round after that. In the following round, I was having a good one until I got given the poison toxic Ferrari car that could not make it up this damn mountain, and I again lost to another player because my Ferrari can't fucking drive. I also rage quit the game after that one. I then spent 10 more rounds of this game, not making it to the final race, or showdown is what I think the game calls it, but in these 10 rounds all in a row, I either lost right away in a head-to-head or a little bit in the round. But every time I was just getting outraced by people with better cars for the most part, or the race pulled not in my favor. However, on my round following those 10 devastating losses back to back, I ended up making it to the final showdown in a level 9 car, a Hoonigan as well, which is almost the best setup I can get in this game mode. There was also only one other player racing me to the finish and the possible W for myself. However, I was not really aware of how the final race pulls and the method in trying to get an edge in its direction. And I was just driving around in random circles, almost hitting the other guy before it began, and it only pulled about a mile. Also, completely behind me, so I fucking lost. But this was also kind of a weird pull, to be honest, looking back at it, because typically it goes miles and miles away from the zone. And before we continue, let me explain the strategy to get a head start towards that final showdown when it does happen. If you have a level 9 or 10 car, you can start sending it full speed away from the zone's direction towards where it's likely going to end up, and you can even go into the zone for about 4 seconds or 5 seconds if you want to push your luck to get an even greater head start. This isn't necessarily needed to be done to win, it just helps a lot against players who are also doing this and know how to play the mode. But with that all said, I didn't know this method until later in my runs. So I then lost 4 more rounds in a row from head-to-heads. Very unfortunate, but I'm honestly used to disappointment at this point, so it's whatever. And then I would reach another good run, having again that level 9 Hoonigan car, which is very good, and I also did do a version of that head start method I mentioned. It wasn't the best I could do, but it was alright. I also did get a zone that was fairly good. However, I just did not have a fast enough car to beat everyone. I ended up finishing in second, barely, almost third. The first place guy fucking cooked his lobby, so he definitely had a level 10 car. But this wasn't a bad finish at all. And my next round was even better. I got a level 10 legendary car, and it was this giant ass thing called the Ultra Bronco, which, spoiler, is the car I would ultimately win within quite some time later. But when I played with it at first, I thought it was bad because it was kind of unsteady. So I actually raced another person and I won, and then swapped to the Lambo, which is not better, by the way. And then I did choke. I got kind of unlucky and some low-level guy beat me, which was tragic. And I remember being very annoyed at this. I also broke my controller, so that's yeah, dope. Drop a like and subscribe. The next 2 rounds I lost to early head-to-heads, but then I again made it to near the end. I had a really good level 8 car, and I knew that you needed a level 10 to win at this point, so I decided to try and race this level 10 dude, and he cooked the shit out of me, so yep, another L. The next round though was also really good, and I ended up with that same level 9 car I've lost in and got second place with twice now, and like usual, I got second place again. And I lost because I didn't have a great head start, but you also do need a level 10 car to win, like literally. It is a need to have that much speed. Such a good line. I would then go on to lose numerous more rounds, and also 2 back-to-back rounds where the fucking Ferrari car again choked because that thing is complete diarrhea on the wall, poopy diaper performance. I actually wouldn't drive that thing if it got given to me as my first car in this game. It's that shit. Anyways, I was getting progressively better at this mode, and I ended up getting for the most part to the ending rounds more often. I also would start to just back out of rounds if I didn't get a level 4 or better car off the start, because you need to have a high level car from the start if you ever want to get a level 10 car. Anyways, my next good ending was again with that level 9 car I had. I was still afraid to do races at the end due to fear of losing and how much luck based the head-to-head location is most of the time at the end of the game. But I basically just got cooked like usual, and I finished third again. An hour or so later, I finally ended up getting that Ultra Bronco legendary car once more, and I don't really know what happened with this one. The other players in my lobby just had really good lines and also really good cars because I thought I was doing good, but I still lost by over a mile, which honestly left me confused and depressed because I had the best setup and I still got my ass kicked, man. Ruining my confidence 100%. But then I went to bed once more, got up the next day, and I started the 4-hour recording that would ultimately have my winning run at the ending. But before that, I did another failed round. I for some reason thought that my Lambo could win it, and I was actually winning the final showdown race for the most part, until I got sent off this hill and then landed so aggressively that my car stopped working completely. It literally would not move forward, and I was stuck holding down the gas the entire time as people just passed my desperate ass stuck in place. What a great game we were playing today. I then made it to the ending of another round, and I got the luckiest head-to-head race against this dude who was sitting AFK with the Ultra Bronco level 10 car, and I stole his, then just sat around waiting for the match to be over, and I absolutely sent it towards where the zone should have pulled to, but for some fucking reason it pulled backwards and went towards the edge of the map. Now in the last 15 hours I played this game mode, I never once saw it do this, so I was pissed. But I somehow almost did win still, but I didn't obviously, and I got second. Also, this was posted on my Instagram and Twitter, so go follow me for more insight into the games I platinum. I then did one more round and ended up with the legendary Hoonigan, which is one of the best cars. However, it is the worst of the legendary ones, unfortunately. And I got a good start, but the guys in my lobby at the end were also very good, and they knew how to play the game mode. And the ending destination was also in a fucking city, so that ruined the run low-key. But then a few rounds after, I again ended up with the Ultra Bronco, and this was the one round I won. And the way I did win was up against two other drivers. I got ready to send it into the zone for the head start strategy, and I did so. I also noticed that the other players on my match were aiming for the opposing side, which ended up being the completely wrong way they were trying to go, and I got given the zone. So it was truly a perfect start, and my heart began to pound like a motherfucker because I noticed that I could actually win around this time. It also ended with my line being in mostly fields. I did crash once, but I recovered quickly and crossed the line, getting the W and the final trophy I need to from this game. I then posted it on my story, on Twitter, and I just sat here and watched the victory for a few minutes, basking in the glory that is the Eliminator Mode Victory Royale. So that was actually insane, and I feel extremely accomplished right now. But my final trophy before the Platinum was, as I said, just from purchasing all of the player houses. My final one was 5 million credits, but I still needed some more money to buy that. However, I had a ton of wheel spins, which got me almost there. I then ran the Goliath race one more time, and it gives a ton of credits, as we all know, which pushed me up and over 5 million. I fast traveled to the house, bought it, and I got the trophy with the Platinum trophy popping along with it. So that was the Forza Horizon 5 Platinum trophy experience for real this time. I had an absolutely horrible time platinuming this, but damn, getting it done feels so good. I can't even express how much I'm at peace knowing I managed to do it. But if you guys do still want to see me get 100% of the DLC on this game, then make sure to drop a like, and I probably will. But if this video doesn't do all that well, then who knows? Anyways, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon with more. Follow me on Instagram.